going on, hobby family? It is your boy K-Dub, and this is K-Dub's High Five. 5 rapid fire questions with your favorite hobby faces. And today we got one of the Twitter hobby favorites. He's the dude that collects every Aaron Donald card ever made, the king of the Prism, my good friend Nick, aka at nmartin55 on Twitter. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. We got a little breeze here in Eastern Washington right now, but I'm sure it's nothing like what's going on in Montana right now. I'm sure you guys got beautiful sunshine, all that good stuff going on.
It is. It's a little cloudy today, but it's sunny and warm, so I'm welcoming it.
Can't complain, man. All right, man. Well, how this works is I got 5 hobby-related questions. I'm going to throw them at you one right after another. You ready to take on the high five?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. When I first met you on Twitter, your screen name was the Dizzle. I've always wondered, man, what is the meaning behind the Dizzle?
Yeah. So if you're a mid to late 30s guy, you probably grew up in the era of Snoop Dogg music, and everything was Dizzles and Bizzles. And so, I think probably I was a freshman in high school, and my nickname became the Dizzle, and it's kind of stuck. I actually just moved into a new house, and a buddy of mine, his uncle lives across the street, and I waved at his wife and she didn't recognize me, and she went home and she asked her husband who that was. And he goes, "Oh, it's the Dizzle." So even everybody knows me by that.
Did it just come about because of the Dizzles and the Rizzles and the Shizzles, or
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. All right, man. Second question for you. When it comes to your collecting, your hobby, who would you say have been some of your biggest influences in your collecting journey?
Yeah, and I think journey is a really good word for it, because I think at different milestones throughout it, I've kind of relied on different people. I think now where I'm at, I've got one buddy named Matt. I refer to him as kind of my Yoda especially on the niche stuff. On the sports card side, I don't know if I heavily lean on certain individuals from a thinking perspective, but I definitely bounce off of the community, whatever the segment is of thoughts, whether I'm making a big play on an expensive card or looking at an up and coming set. I think that in 2022 I have my collecting stream. I've got the niche side that I really enjoy playing in, whether it's Fortnite or WNBA. And then I have the side that I buy to sell. And so I think that each one of those has different people in it. I'm in a Kaboom room on Instagram. Some of the biggest collectors inside of that space. Roberto from Twitter, he's on there. So a ton of different perspectives, experience, different collectors. I lean on.
Nice. Right on, man. Right on. Well, let's talk about the cards. And we all know you're the Aaron Donald guy. But I don't know if that's the grail, but you got one card for your collection that you get to keep forever. What card is it and why?
So when I started collecting Aaron Donald, it was, I tried to collect everything. And now in this current age, cards are expensive. And two, I think that any collector, I think will say that their approach to it changes over time. And so I've kind of pared down what I collect. I collect 2 sets of his rookie card stuff, and that's Prism and then Topps Chrome. Yeah. And then modern stuff, the only thing I'll buy anymore is I will build his Rainbow every year for Prism. So there's 2 cards that elude me. This Topps Chrome Super Base and this Topps Chrome Super Auto. The base has been pulled. I know where it's at. I'm continually trying to get it, but I would say probably the Topps Chrome Super Auto. I don't think it's been pulled, and I rip a lot of Topps Chrome to try pulling it.
Oh, man. Still today, are you ripping 2014 Topps Chrome?
Yeah, so I actually have 3 cases at my house. We just moved into a new house, and I said I will not open them until we get in the new house. So here in the next week or so, I'll start torching into that stuff to see if I can finally find this card. It started with Cheap Fun Breaks, aka Houdini, on Twitter. Before he was on Twitter and he was on Blowout. What he does with Bowman with 50, 100 case breaks. He used to do that with football. And that's where I really got back into the hobby in 2014 was I bought Aaron Donald spots in a 50 case Topps Chrome break. So that's kind of where my love and lust for that card really started.
All right, man. Well, I got my fingers crossed, my prayers up, my thoughts with you as you rip into that. But that Aaron Donald 101 auto is in there, man.
Appreciate it.
It's destiny, man. I mean,
I hope so.
it would be the perfect hobby story right there.
Yeah, it will be.
All right, man. Well, the next question, I don't know if this is already going to be answered or not, but you got one product that you get to rip. Money's not an option. What product are you ripping and why?
Okay, so I have a follow-up to this from your prompts. What is it, a singular box or is it volume?
One box that you can rip. Money not an option. What's it going to be and why?
One box. To be honest with you, I'd probably actually no, I know what it is. I would rip 20. I would rip 2018 the Kobe set that Panini came out with. I would say an exquisite product only because it was kind of the gap of like Squiz came out like 03 and then finished, I don't know, 09. And that was like the years that I didn't collect, but I think they're gorgeous. But I would probably rip Panini Eminence, the Kobe version. It's an incredible product. And yeah.
Have you ripped it before?
I've ripped it in case break. So pre him passing away, they used to do hit drafts for, I don't know, $500 or $600, which in hindsight now seems super, super cheap given that any autos out of that thing sells for like 10 grand. But yeah, I have ripped it. I have a couple of them. So.
Okay. Right on, man. Right on. Well, I'm going to have to check it. I'm not familiar, so I'm going to have to check it after this is done.
Oh, it's awesome product.
Okay. All right. And what is it? 2018 Panini Eminence?
Panini Eminence. They make it now for other players. But they came out with an exclusive Kobe run. And so they have like the equivalent of like sneaker spotlights that you find in Noir. Yeah. They have those, but they're only Kobe shoes. So it's like, here's Pro 4s, etc. And then they have like all of his milestones. So kind of like luminaries for Topps baseball, where it's like, here's a 4 home run game. They did that with like Kobe's 81-point game against the Raptors, so on and so forth. It's a really, really amazing product.
All right. I love it. All right. I'm checking it out. All right. One more question for you. You and I have kind of discussed this through Twitter DMs, kind of this idea of the balance between, collecting cards, but also collecting cards and then eventually selling them, and kind of the cycle continues. And so as more and more people are coming into the hobby, could you kind of explain a little bit of the balance between the two, like collecting for your personal collection, but also that idea of getting cards to eventually look to sell and profit?
Yeah, so I think it's a two-part answer. I'll try to make it quick. So for me, I kind of touched on this with Aaron Donald. Is when I first started collecting him, he was a defensive lineman, and yeah, he was good at early part of his career, but he wasn't a ton of products. So it was easy for me to say, hey, there's 7 releases each year that I'm going to go after his stuff. Well, as his career's kind of built upon himself, and he's now in that top tier of defenders, he's in every single product. Yeah. He's in every single insert. And so it's not sustainable for me to do that, especially just from a time perspective. I think anybody who puts together sets or builds rainbows, like, there's a lot of time that goes into it. You got to be on every social media channel and checking it multiple times a day to put those together. And so I think now I know that market really well. And so if I find something that's undervalued, I'll buy it. If it's in better shape than the one I have, I'll flip it out and then and sell my 8 or PSA 8 or PSA 9 or whatever it is. And then I'm trimming down my collection on that front. And so it's nice because that's a little bit of revenue flywheel. His stuff's a lot more expensive than it was 5 years ago. But then the other side of that is that, and I think that it's probably where the truest part of my love of this hobby really is that sports cards now in 2022 are a culmination of sports knowledge, the ability to project. So take some components from fantasy football. There is a gambling component to it, whether or not anybody wants to admit it, there is. So and all 3 of those things are kind of my vices in life. I like to watch sports, I like to gamble, and I like to kind of forward look and project using data and so forth. And so the selling side of that is really where I enjoy spending a lot of time anymore. especially because the collecting side doesn't take up as much time. I'm obviously a Rams fan. And so last year, as soon as they signed Stafford, like I bought a bunch of cups. I had some, but I bought a bunch because I knew that they finally had a competent quarterback. And with that, Cooper would elevate.
Yeah.
Same thing this year. Allen Robinson, he was a hobby darling in 2014 and has probably been forgotten because of the teams that he's played on. Now going to the Rams, what Odell did and revived his career, I think Allen Robinson is going to be every bit of that. And so buy stuff cheap, and as soon as Stafford starts slinging it, let him go.
Oh, and there is a balance there, right?
Totally.
You're also looking for cards, that you don't have that you want. And I'm sure there's cups that you have that are in your collection, but also that idea of, I was snagging Cooper Cup autos for $12 before the season.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and now those same cards are going for, 100 to $200. I mean, it's
and it's nice though, because when you do that, so like I bought a TJ Watt Prism Gold from 2017. There's a lot of iconic things that are going to be in that set. It's Patrick Mahomes year. And so realistically, no one else is ripping any more of that. What is out there in the hobby is what's going to be in the hobby. What's been graded is probably all that's going to be graded. There's nothing that's raw that's going to be walking into the door to PSA or BGS. And so that card, I bought it because I thought it was value in comparison to what Aaron's pricing was. I flipped it for almost 100% of what I paid for it. I then took that profit and I went and I bought a Grail card that I could never justify before. And I bought a 1996 Isaac Bruce PMG. And so just that one move, I'd tie up a little bit of money for a couple of weeks. But by doing that, I then go onto my platform, spray it out, move it, and then now I have a sweet card that essentially cost me nothing. And I think that that's a necessary component with inside of this hobby anymore to make it sustainable. Unless you have a ton of money, you have to have this collecting side and then this flipping side to fund your collecting side. And so that's how I've always treated it. I've gotten lucky with a couple cards that I've got to buy my wife new appliances or a new deck or whatever. But my true intent is just to fuel my own hobby collecting. So.
No, I love it, man. I love it. All right, let me get you one bonus question here, because I texted you last week and I just said, is there any kind of passions you got in the hobby? And I'm going to throw up the image here on the video itself, but you threw an image at me of these Fortnite cards, and you said, this is something that I'm kind of getting into. I'm passionate. What's kind of driving this Fortnite cards, this collecting? Like, where did that come from in your passion for the hobby?
So the niche stuff I really enjoy. I think that I know sports really well, and so the other components of the hobby have given me that new collector approach of, I need to do research, I need to go figure it out. And Fortnite has been a fun one because I'm privy to the game, but it's not like I played it, and it's only because if you're 35, 40 years old, we grew up on first person shooters, and that was it. We didn't have to build stuff as well. And so I didn't play it, but the cards themselves are some of the most fantastic looking cards that Panini has made, period. And I don't say that jokingly at all. I think they're gorgeous, especially Series 1. And so on the prospecting side that I take on sports, Fortnite projects I don't think it'll be Pokemon levels, but I think it will be something that is highly sought after. Just as I said, I come back and bought a PMG. There's going to be a 10-year-old here in 20 years that's financially able to go back and get their Grail skin from Fortnite. And so, I'm going to go buy a shiny banana. I showed my wife this. I was like, I bought this and it wasn't cheap, but she's like, well, so I can see why that would be collectible. And so to me, it's really brought back just that research, projecting, and it's giving me some discipline to hold stuff, because outside of Aaron Donald stuff, I don't like sitting in my house very long. I like to burn it. So.
Oh, I love it, man. All right, Fortnite, we're on it. Check it out, man. The world's going to be going after these Fortnite things, but it totally makes sense. As we kind of look back at our childhood, and we kind of grab those things from our childhood, that's 20 years. That's, my middle schoolers are going to be looking for those same things. So it's a great thought, man. I love it. And it's fun. It's a very cool little new niche in the hobby for sure. So,
yes, sir.
All right, man. You're finished. That's all I got. We got a high five at the end of high five here. Throw it up, throw it up. You can check out Nick on Twitter at nmartin55. Are you also on Instagram as well? Same
Yeah.
name?
It is. It's AD99_collector.
There we go. There we go. You can also follow me if you're bored. I'm only on Twitter at Mr. K-Dub. Always remember, be the good in the world. Nick, I appreciate the time. I appreciate you joining me, man. And
Likewise, brother.
catch you guys next time on the next High Five.
Cheers.